Today I'm going to be replacing my Wilkins 70 pressure relief valve that you see here. This one's about 20 years old, and I noticed that my water pressure in the house was up to the street pressure around 120 when I like it around 50, which is supposed to be preset for. Anyway, they no longer make the Wilkins 70, of course, so I had to get the Wilkins NR3XL, which also isn't the exact fit for the 70. And by the way, as you can see, I'm using I have a 1 1/4 inch pipe there. So I had to get this thing over here for another $32, which is a what do they call it? The retrofit kit, which is basically, and I'll let you see the numbers on that in case you need it also. Basically just an extension that goes on the end of the valve there, and it's got a really cheap looking flimsy O-ring on there. I did call the company. I said, seriously, is that supposed to work? And they said, yeah. I guess it's what they've been using for a while and no trouble, so hopefully that'll be my experience as well. But I'm going to put this on the downside of the valve. So over here it's going to be street pressure, and over here it's going to reduce down to 50. Since I'm a little skeptical about that O-ring, I'm going to put it on this side here. Anyway, that little spacer is supposed to make it so that valve right there with the spacer is going to fit in that spot right there. We'll see. So as you can see, I've already shut off the water right here, and I've drained the water in the house by opening the faucets on the second story and collecting a bunch of water in buckets on the first floor, because this is Southern California and water is gold. Plus, you never know how long this is really going to take, and we might just need some water to get us through the night and into tomorrow. Hopefully that's not going to be the case, but we'll see. So back to this thing here. I bought it on Amazon in February 2022 for about $336. It came with this little union over here. As you can see, it has two sides that are going to need a union fitting and a gasket, and since my old one is 20 years old, I'm not going to reuse my gaskets on that old one. So this one did come with a gasket. That meant I had to find something on the other side over here. Oh, by the way, this spacer that they call the reducing valve retrofit kit, that was not available on Amazon. I had to look all around San Diego to find that in a plumbing supply place, and it was $32, and most places did not have it, so I felt lucky that one that was only about 20 miles away did have it. But what they did not have, I couldn't find anywhere in San Diego County, was another union gasket. The part number is P04-13 for the 1 1/4" size. And so I did call the company and said, I can't find this anywhere. And they said, well, you got to buy the entire kit. Apparently they don't sell it separately, but they were nice enough actually to send me one in the mail, so I'll be using that. Seems like a shame that, well, that's not going to be used. Yeah. If you are looking for your own union gasket, the measurements are, it's slightly more than an eighth of an inch in thickness. It's just slightly over 2 inches in outer diameter, but less than 2 1/16. So if you found something that was 2 inches, that would probably work. And then the inner diameter is 1.5 inches. And again, I looked all over the place for these in San Diego and did not find anything. So here's how I am going to try to loosen up that top union right there, using a couple of pipe wrenches, one on the bell to counter the torque that I'm going to put on this top one here and turn that nut off. Again, it's been on there for 20 years, or maybe a little more, and we'll see how it goes. So I'm filming this on my phone, which I'm holding with one hand. That's why I wasn't able to let you watch me undo that nut, but it went incredibly easily. No swearing needed. Anyway, I left it on just a little bit as I try to undo the bottom one, and since the top one went so easily, I'm going to just try the bottom one here and not even apply the torque, because it wasn't really even, or the counter torque. Look at that. Oh my gosh. No, that wasn't loosened before I turned on the camera, so it's like this never happens for me. Usually somebody way over tightens things. Now there is a rubber washer in there that's responsible for the seals right here, and there really is no need to over tighten either of these two. And luckily my plumber who put it in knew that. And didn't over tighten things. Just pull it on out and see what happens. There we go. Old valve. A lot of brass there. I might take it apart just for the fun of it, even though there's no kits to repair this one. Like a lot of the other pressure relief valves, you can buy a kit, take off the bell and take off this bottom nut down here and repair them. Repair kits are outrageously expensive, but this thing here, like I said earlier, was $336, and the repair kit's less than half that. So if there was one, I'd give it a shot, but there's not, so I'll hang on to the brass and see if I can't recycle it somewhere and get a little bit of money for it. Doesn't look bad, but like I said, it's 20 years old, so I'm not going to reuse it. I might hang on to it though, and just when I'm in another plumbing store, see if they ever get these things. I don't know how anybody ever does these jobs without being able to get a hold of them, so they must be somewhere. Now let's just see if everything else fits in nicely, and this will be the easiest plumbing job I've ever done. Okay, so I took a piece of 320 grit sandpaper and just really lightly cleaned this area up of all the barnacles and stuff from the Southern California water, which is really super high in minerals. And just got a little bit of the rubber that's stuck on there, and like I said, all the other junk off. Same thing for up there, just very lightly. And then I kind of inspected these gaskets here, and man, they are brittle. That'd be really, you can see how they crack there. It'd really be stupid to reuse those things after 20 years. So anyway, I put a little bit of O-ring grease on this cheesy little O-ring here, hoping that will do something useful. And the same with my two union gaskets. So I'm ready to assemble everything here. And once again, the spacer is, I'm going to put it on the downstream side of that valve, so it's going to have the lower pressure on it. Alright, so I screwed that spacer on with my hand. It's just got it hand tight. As you can see, there's no real places to grip it with a tool and tighten it down, or over tighten it I should say. So hopefully that O-ring is going to hold it. I guess if it doesn't, I can always undo these unions here and try to get it on a little bit tighter. Anyway, I've got the one union gasket in place down there, and I've got one on the top here. I'm going to see if I can one-hand this while I'm holding the camera and get everything in place. Now, it doesn't look like that's going to work, so I've got to set this camera down. So it took two hands, but it went in nicely, and you can see that the engineers actually, looks like they got that distance measured out pretty well. You can see the direction of the flow of water here. gasket in there nicely, and the upper one in there nicely too. So now I just have to go ahead and tighten these union nuts down there. And get this one going too. This could be the easiest plumbing job I've ever done. I'm going to tighten those down. We'll turn on the water and see what happens. Water is shut off in the lower part of the house. A couple of faucets are still open in the upper part, so I'm going to turn this on slowly. And go upstairs, and as soon as the water starts running up in those other faucets, shut those things off. And then come down here and open it up all the way. Let's see if it holds. Alright, well the valve is completely open now, and all the faucets in the house are shut off. So this thing is under its maximum pressure right now, and looks good. This is the where the spacer and that little cheap O-ring are sitting in there, apparently doing their job, because I don't see any leaks anywhere. And there's nothing up under here or up there or down in this union joint either. So I think this was the easiest job ever. Now let's go and take a look at the pressure. There we go. Okay. Right where it should be. At 50-ish. Awesome. All done.